Phoenix Risers. It's been a week or two since I have put out one of these podcasts, so I've got lots of notes for you, lots to dive into, and hopefully to start your day off on a high note and to get you inspired, motivated, empowered, and to help you move forward in any direction with what you want in life. So hello. Good morning. Maybe it's afternoon. Maybe it's the evening. Maybe it's 10 o'clock at night and you're just trying to listen to something that makes you feel less alone. Or maybe you're headed to the gym like I'm about to do and just want a little pump up. So regardless of where you're at, I'm happy you're here. I'm grateful you're here. I'm excited that you are here. And today's topic is going to be perfect no matter what time of day it is for you or what you're working on. We are going to discuss how your mindset is a muscle and how to work it out. So a lot of this stems from, I did a post the other day on Instagram. I was asking you guys like, hey, I'm working on some new content for the podcast. What do you want more help with? And to everybody who responded, I really appreciate the feedback because it lets me know where I can contribute and give you valuable content. A lot of people, no surprise, wanted help on proper nutrition, wanted help on, I had one person that responded wanting help on sleep and hydration and recovery and understanding the proper mechanics behind that. But a lot of people wanted help on the mindset, which makes me so happy because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. And also whenever, it's so funny, I've gotten some new people this week that I'm working with on coaching them and transforming their mindset, their nutrition, and their fitness so that they can unlock their full potential and be everything they want to be in this life. And one of the conversations I was having with these new clients this week was very clearly of you have mindset worksheets and workouts in your weekly program. Do not skip them. And I always have to say this to people because, and this is just society, this isn't just one individual, this is society in general, is I write very specific nutrition programs and people are so good about following the nutrition and hitting their macros. And I have you do your daily check-in and I see it and I'm like, man, you are spot on your macros. And then they're doing their workouts and they're like, I crushed this workout. And then I get to the part, because I make you check in when we work together too on your mindset and your meditation and your developing mental strength too. And it's so interesting to see how it'll be like, check nutrition, check workouts. And then I get down to the mindset. I'm like, what's going on? You haven't done any of the mindset stuff in 3 days. They're like, I know. And I know what it is, but like, it's important that you know what it is. And it's because everybody puts such an emphasis on external things, thinking that by just fixing our workouts and nutrition, that's going to change everything. When in the reality is what you're really looking for and what anybody is looking for. So you come to me and you want to change your nutrition and your workouts. Actually, I want to lose weight. I want to tone up. I want to clean up my nutrition. I want to just feel better. That's always what it is. I want to feel better. And then I'm like, all right, well, what's going on? What does feeling better look like to you? And it starts out with, why I want to weigh this much. I'm like, all right, well, that's like a very surface thing. That is a surface thing masking something deeper. It always is. Whatever it is you're searching for, that is like the surface layer of what you really want deeper. So I'm like, okay, you want to weigh that much weight. Let's keep talking. What's going on? Well, I'm just really tired. I'm tired all the time and I'm taking care of this and I'm taking care of that. And the only thing that makes me feel better is when I eat or when I drink or when I do this, because that's when I feel most relaxed and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, so you actually don't really care about weighing that number on the scale. What you care about is you want to feel peace of mind, fulfillment, happiness. You want to feel confident in how you look and how you feel, correct? And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, great. Because my number one rule when you work with me, and I told one of the new clients this week, I said, hey, look, this is great. I'm really excited to work with you. My number one rule with everybody is as soon as you start working with me, you have to promise to stop weighing yourself. In 15 years of being in the fitness and nutrition industry and working with people, not once have I ever weighed a client. And the reason being is because weight is not a good indicator of health inside and out. And here's why. And I explained this is pretty much we can work together for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years. And I have some clients that have been with me for like 6 years. We can work together in all this and you can totally transform. You're sleeping better. Your hormones are balanced out. You have less anxiety. You have more peace of mind. You have more energy. You feel stronger. You have more lean muscle. You feel more confident. You can have all of this and maybe only lose 2 pounds. So weight is never a good indicator of your overall health and progress. So when we work together, and what I always explain, and we'll get into this, the mindset workout stuff in a minute, when we work together, this is why every single day I make my clients do a check-in. It's a spreadsheet that we share. And I mean, it is a thorough analysis every single day. How did you sleep? How much water did you drink? What day, for women, what day of the cycle are you on? How did you feel mentally? How did you feel emotionally? Did you do your workout? What was the level of performance in your workout? What was your protein intake, your carb intake, and your fat intake? Did you spend time in meditation and journaling today? And here's the reason why we do this. It's because I want you to get in the habit of looking at your life holistically and not just looking at a number on the scale or a size that you are or anything like that. Because like I said, that is not a good indicator of health. I have plenty of people who come to me who may be what like the doctors and science say are their ideal weight, or they may be thin, but they have a lot of hormone imbalances. They aren't sleeping well. They struggle with stress and anxiety and depression every single day. They're not happy. They have body dysmorphia because even though they're thin, they think they're fat. So I have that side. And then I have the other clients who may lose 10 to 15 pounds and feel great and look great and all this, except for they have the mental block in their mind of, yeah, even though I feel great inside and out, I'm supposed to be this specific weight. So the best indicator for your overall progress and your health is based on things that are going on internally. So from a physical perspective, the things going on internally, your blood work and your lab work, this is number one. If we look at your blood work and things are all over the place, your vitamin D levels are off, your cholesterol's off, your triglycerides are off, your cortisol is high, your magnesium is low, your hemoglobin is off, you've got low iron. If your blood sugar is off, if all this stuff is all off, but on the outside you look fantastic, I don't really care because your body is telling me right now it's underfueled. It's underfueled, which is why you're having all these imbalances, because it's having a give and take from different things in conservation so that it doesn't pull too much energy to where things start shutting down. So when you have imbalances on blood work and hormone work, and this is I'm going to get into a whole other podcast episode about this. I have it as like my list of one of the ones coming up about how the body works when you have imbalances. So even like women who have hormonal imbalances, extreme periods, anxiety, depression, acne, all these things, it's not because there's anything wrong with your body. It's because the body is very smart. Same thing for men. When men have premature hair loss or premature aging, I'm sorry, I'm picking up Bear right now because he wants to be part of this podcast. He's sniffing the mic right now. Say hello. So when men have premature aging, premature hair loss, they have low testosterone, they get what's called man boobs, which there's a technical term for this, but guys know what they are because I've had guys come to me that are like, I can't build my chest. And I'm like, well, it's not your workouts, it's your nutrition and your hormones. And it sounds like your liver is not properly detoxing the excess estrogen. So instead, excess estrogen gets recirculated back into your bloodstream, which results in your body reflecting excess estrogen. So when you have all these things going on, the only way you can tell is by doing deep, thorough analysis of the blood work and the hormone panel. So that's one of the indicators of your progress in your health. Number two, I do measurements. I don't do weight. So we'll measure your waist, your hips, your thighs, your arms, all this stuff and keep track of that. But then we also measure mental health and mindset and emotional health. Do you have less anxiety? Do you have better mental clarity? Do you have more energy? Are you sleeping better? How is your performance? How is your overall happiness and confidence compared to when we started? This is super important because, like I said in the beginning, everybody skips mindset work, but your mindset, your mental health, your overall well-being tells me a lot about where we need to have the most work. So going back to the beginning of this, when I was saying that clients sometimes tend to neglect or skip the mindset part, it's so funny because I'm like, you think the problem is external. That is the surface. The bigger problem that will resolve all of this is internal. When we fix your mindset and we change your beliefs about yourself, about fitness, about nutrition, about success, about relationships, about anything, it's always going to result in external change. So this is why your mindset is so important. But it's kind of like if you skip leg day and you only focus on upper body because upper body is easier and leg day is harder, you're going to have an imbalance with your body and you're going to look super awkward. That's what happens when you do all the work externally and you change your nutrition and you change your fitness, but you don't do the mindset work. This is why you see, perfect example. This is why you see so many men and women on the outside who may look fantastic, but they are like some of the most insecure people you've ever met. Or they're continually doing things. Women are continually like, let me get Botox, let me get plastic surgery, let me get liposuction. And to clarify, I am not saying there's anything wrong with any of this. But when you see a pattern of people constantly trying to change and fix all of these things externally, it's actually a sign that there's something much deeper going on internally, and they need to stop all that and focus on what's internal. Same thing with guys. Using steroids, using unhealthy supplements, overtraining, over bulking up, over consumed with their external appearance. It usually means that there's something going on internally that we need to focus on more than anything else. So this is why mindset is super important. Your mindset dictates your entire life. If you take a look at your reality, your life is created by design by you. And I'm not saying there's not like a greater universal energy. You guys know I'm all about like the universe and all that. What I am saying though is everything you have in your life right now is created by the choices, the habits, and the behaviors on a daily basis that you have chosen. First time I ever, I don't know, we'll talk maybe 10 years ago. But the first time, like, I kind of had my own changes in my life, and it was like, okay, in order to make any change, and this is the same thing for you, you have to take 100% responsibility right now for all of it. I don't mean just like, all right, I take responsibility for this fight, or I take responsibility that I haven't been eating super healthy. No, you take responsibility for your entire life as if, think of it this way. If I gave you a blank canvas and every single color that exists in the world, and I was like, here, paint a picture. And you paint this picture and it's okay. I mean, it's not kindergarten type painting, but it's also not Picasso. And you paint this picture and I'm like, wow, okay. So this isn't bad, but like we need a little bit of like work maybe on this color, or maybe we need to work on your skills with blending and crafting and connecting instead of like these hard lines and all this. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, so whose picture is this? Who drew this picture? And you decide to be like, well, it was me, but I did the parts, like I did the good parts. Like I did this part and that part. And I'm like, okay, well then who did the other parts? Well, I would have done the other parts except for I didn't know. And like we immediately make excuses and it's like, wait, look, did you paint this picture or did you not? Like, did your hand grab these colors and use the canvas and put this together? It's like, it's a simple yes or no. Well, yes, I did. Okay, great. Now that you accept that, instead of being ashamed and embarrassed by it, now I can teach you how to paint better. And by the way, I'm not a great painter. This is just an analogy. This is the same way your life goes, though. As we accept responsibilities for certain parts, we're like, yeah, no, I know I've been slacking in my workouts and my nutrition. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool. What other areas of your life are you unfulfilled in? Wait, what? I thought you were just like here to be my fitness coach. Oh, you forgot I do fitness, nutrition, and mindset. So, I mean, I can do just fitness and nutrition, but you made it clear that you came to me because you want to feel better and you want to grow and you want to reach your full potential, correct? Okay, great. So what areas are you unfulfilled in? And then we start to get deep. Then it gets into maybe your relationship isn't quite as deep and connected and it doesn't set your soul on fire. All right, that makes sense because right now the theme in your life is coasting. You're playing it safe in all areas. So naturally, everything in your life is going to reflect this. What else? Your career, your work. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the beliefs that go underneath that. What beliefs do you have about yourself, or what patterns do you see in yourself that are currently being reflected in your external reality? So the only way you get to these beliefs and you get to the core of what's going on in your life is by doing the daily mindset work. Mindset is a muscle. You cannot work out one time a month and think that anything is going to happen with your health and fitness. You cannot meditate one time a week and think that you are going to have more clarity, more peace of mind, greater intuition, and greater fulfillment. So even though you can't see your mindset, you can see your mindset. So we're going to go through a little bit of how you can strengthen your mindset and train your mindset muscle every single day. Some of this stuff is going to seem repetitive because, one, repetition is the key to actual transformation. But number two, because there's not any special magic pill. It's pretty simple. Whatever is going on in your life, the answer is almost always meditation, nutrition, exercise. Go within first, then start to make the changes on the external. This is everything. You're unhappy with your money? Okay, let's do some meditation. Find out what money block beliefs do you have. Okay, you're unhappy in your relationship? Let's do some meditation. Let's do some inner work, and let's find out why you have a block in intimacy and vulnerability. What pain is there that hasn't been healed? What deep-rooted belief is there that keeps you from going after the kind of relationship you want? What kind of relationship did you have with your parents that now you're manifesting in your romantic relationships? You're not happy with your body. Okay, cool. Let's dig deep. Why are you not happy with your body? What do you think is wrong with it? What beliefs do you have? You're not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You can't establish boundaries. Whatever it is. We always start with meditation and mindset, but everybody wants to pass all the hard stuff up and get straight through to just the results. So you're going to train your muscle in your mind daily. How you do this is totally up to you because everybody has different modalities that create the response that we want more than others. So step number one to training your mindset is one of the same steps you have with your workout. You have to set aside the time and you have to make it a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable because you care about who you are in this life and who you show yourself as, so therefore you make it a priority. The things that we make a priority are the things that make the biggest impact in our life. So when you do your workouts, what do? Let's say you got to do it early in the morning before you have to go to work, take care of your family, or take care of whatever you got to do. You set the alarm, you get up, and you set aside that 30 minutes to an hour, right? You got to do the exact same thing with your mindset. If you are somebody who is crunched for time, which total reality check, we all are. So I hear this all the time. It's like, I don't have time for this. You make time for the things that are important to you. You don't have time. Are you kidding me? You can't turn off your phone and go sit in silence for 10 minutes. Come on. That's an excuse. You don't have time to go stretch for 10 to 20 minutes and just focus on your breath? Pretty sure you do if you got off social media or you got off TV, or maybe instead of going out to dinner every single night, you're like, you know what? Instead of constantly surrounding myself and socializing, giving my energy to other people, I'm going to prioritize myself and set aside some time for me. So that's number one. The excuse I hear all the time, I don't have time to work out. You don't? That's weird. I thought we all got 24 hours in a day. Yeah, but you don't know my schedule. You don't know my schedule. Well, okay, I could probably maybe on my lunch break. Okay, great. I'm glad that you stopped making excuses. I can't help you if you have excuses. We all have the same time in every single day, and yes, everybody's life looks different. But the truth is, if it's important to you, you will make time. It's the same thing with people. It's the same thing with everything. If it's important, you find a way. So let's just establish that. This is important to you, so you will find a way. Set aside time every single day, just like you would with a workout, to do your mindset work. For me, I have 2 times a day, in the morning and at night. Here's the reason being. If you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me talk about this all the time. In the morning and in at night, that's a full sentence. I was like, did that make sense? Maybe it didn't. Who cares? In the morning and at night is when your subconscious mind is most responsive and receptive to absorbing new beliefs and new thoughts and new habits. The reason being is because when you're sleeping, your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your deep state of relaxation, meditation, it's that place where you're dreaming, you can access like deep subconscious things. When you first wake up and you haven't consumed social media, you haven't been talking to everybody else, you haven't been watching the news, you haven't interacted with other people, the part that is most active when you first wake up is your subconscious mind. Because your conscious mind, your waking mind, the mind that is thinking of everything that has to be done throughout the day, the mind that has like all the previous programming in it, isn't totally awake yet. So when you first wake up, if you really want to change thoughts, beliefs, and patterns, first thing in the morning is going to be the most valuable and impactful time. So what I do, you guys know this, I have a non-negotiable. My phone does not come off airplane mode in the morning until I have got set in myself. So this can look different every single day. It doesn't really matter how it looks for you. What matters is that you do it and you make it a non-negotiable priority in your life, because developing new daily habits is the only way you are going to develop change and make real lasting transformation in your life. So some mornings when I wake up, depending on how I'm feeling or what's going on in life, usually my routine is I don't check my phone. My phone's not even in my bedroom. Your phone shouldn't be in your bedroom. If you tell me it's because you need an alarm clock, go to Walmart for $5 and buy an alarm clock. Your phone does not need to be where you're sleeping. Like, that's the bottom line. Anywho, so I do not touch my phone. I don't look at my phone. The only thing I may use my phone for is if I go into my Apple playlist and I'm listening to like piano or instrumental music for my meditation. But so typically I get up as soon as my eyes open on the pillow. I have trained my mind, and it's not easy, trust me. But as soon as my eyes open, I will sit there for a minute. I will take a few deep breaths and I will say, thank you for something. Thank you that the sun is shining today. Thank you that I slept well. Thank you that I opened my eyes. Thank you that today is Tuesday and I have a lot of time to get everything that I need to get done. Thank you for Bear, who makes me laugh and is one of my greatest companions in this life. Thank you for whatever. Thank you that my air conditioning worked last night and I got to sleep freezing cold like I love to. Thank you that I have fans. Thank you that I have my health. Like simple things. So as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, say thank you. I don't care if you don't know what you're saying thank you for, but you're developing the habit and the state of mind that immediately when you wake up, you have a sense of gratitude for life and for the fact that you have the ability to live it every single day. So this is one habit you can do. It will get you out of the mindset of what you don't have, and it will put you in the mindset of what you do have. Remember, what you focus on, you attract more of. So if you are constantly in a state of, I don't have this, I got 5 hours of sleep instead of 8 hours of sleep, I don't have any time. Like when you train your brain to think of everything you don't have or what's not going right, the way your brain works is it is Sherlock Holmes. It will look for more clues and evidence that is consistent in your life. So if you wake up and immediately the first thing you've trained your brain to do is think of everything wrong, it will go through your brain and try and bring up memories and other thoughts that align with that, because it's like, oh, okay, so she's searching or he's searching for all the negative stuff. So let me bring up more negative things. And then before you know it, you start your day and you're just pissed off and in a grumpy mood because that's how you've trained your brain. Instead, if you wake up, your subconscious mind is like a fresh little sponge ready to absorb whatever you want. And like I said, when you first do this, it's not easy because it's a new muscle that you are training. Just like the first time you do any new workout, it's not easy because it's a new habit. So you wake up, your eyes open, take a deep breath, and just say thank you. And sit there. It's 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. Sit there as long as you want. I don't care. And then when you're getting up, keep breathing. You're just like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for my family. Thank you for the awareness. Thank you for the breath. Thank you that I have all of my senses. Thank you that I slept. Thank you that I have things to even say thank you for. Like, we get so caught up in thinking, well, I don't have this yet and I don't have that yet. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you don't still have a ton of things to be grateful for. So that's number one. In the morning, if you say you don't have time, I am making it so that you don't even have to cut out time. You can simply take the time you're already using in your everyday life and start to train your brain. So that's number one. That's one of the things that I do. Open my eyes and I just take a deep breath and I say thank you. As my day starts, and you can develop your own routine with this, sometimes it's 5 minutes I do this, sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes it just really depends on how much I need to process and digest. I wake up, I go in the kitchen, I open the door, I let Bear out, I make my coffee and my breakfast, and then I will go, while I'm eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee, I either sit outside with pen and paper, or I sit in, sometimes, I don't know why, I have a thing about, I like sitting on the floor for some reason when I eat. I think it makes me feel grounded. I don't know. I do this at people's houses too. They're like, you can sit on the couch or the table. And I'm like, no, I don't know why I like sitting on the floor. But anyways, I'll sit there and I'll just be totally present and immersed in what I'm doing, tasting my food, tasting my coffee, breathing, waking up, giving my body a second to catch up instead of diving right into the day. And then when I'm done with breakfast and I'm sitting there drinking coffee, because some people chug coffee. I don't. I savor it and sip it. I then take pen and paper. And like I said, this is like 5 minutes, 5 freaking minutes. You have to eat breakfast regardless. So instead of while you're eating breakfast being on your phone or on your computer or watching TV, turn it off and actually be present to what you're doing. So I'll sit there for 5 or 10 minutes, pen and paper, take a few deep breaths, and I just let whatever comes up. And I'm like, okay, what do we need to process today? And maybe it's a block. Maybe it's a mental block that I had that I'm like, is there any area that I'm holding myself back? Is there any area that I am not fully stepping into my full potential? Are there any things that I need to know to move forward in my life? And if there's something specific I'm manifesting, something specific like universe, God, I can't even think of anything right now. Connect me to the right people who are on the same like-minded growth path as myself, and help me to recognize and see them, whatever it is. So usually when I'm manifesting, I'm very specific in what I'm manifesting. So if it's friendships, if it's a relationship, if it's something in business, I have very detailed specifics of what I'm looking for, quality-wise, all this stuff. So I'll spend time writing that out. And then in the morning meditation, I'll ask, universe, show me anything that I need to do in the process of manifesting this. And sometimes nothing comes up in that moment, but it may come up later in that day where suddenly somebody pops into my mind and I'm like, oh yeah, like I haven't talked to them. And then, oh, look at that. Like you manifested something. Or other times different ideas come up in the 5 minutes that I'm sitting there of just like connecting thought patterns. Because if you understand the way that your brain works, like I said in the beginning of this, your brain is responsible for finding solutions. So when you present a problem or an idea to it, your subconscious mind immediately goes to work to find the solution. So if you're thinking money-wise, say something comes up and all of a sudden you need $500 to pay a bill. And you're like, shit, I don't have $500. That thought right there of I don't have $500 immediately gets implanted into your subconscious brain. Your subconscious brain then will recreate that in your external reality of lack, not having enough money, all these situations. So instead, training your brain when something comes up, it's like, oh, this unexpected bill for $500. You know what? No worries. Why? Because I live in an abundant universe that has unlimited resources. There is money, literally money everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's money. Money at the grocery store. There's money in my bank account. There's money reflected in everything. So I know that there is $500 that exist in my reality that can easily be manifested in ways that I may not know of, but the universe has ways to do this. So universe, thank you that you are smarter than I am and you have $500 ready for this unexpected bill. Please show me anything that I need to do in order to manifest that. That's one of the things I do in my meditation. And it's so like, I was going to make another podcast about this. So without going on rabbit trails, like in meditation, if you're not really sure, so meditation isn't something that has, in mindset too, it doesn't have to be this super spiritual, ritualistic thing unless you want it to be. Sometimes I like doing that because it makes it feel more like sacred, I guess. It's totally up to you, whatever you feel. But sometimes meditation is literally just sitting with your coffee, your tea, sitting out in nature and pondering on a concept that helps you connect deeper and expand deeper to the things in you, around you, and outside of you. So I'm saying this because without going back to the money thing is sometimes in meditation, one of the things that I've been meditating on recently that puts me in the vibration, the mindset, the energy of abundance, of love, of gratitude, of expansion, because that's what's important is when you don't do this work, you can feel very isolated and alone and forget you are part of something much bigger than yourself. Meditation connects you to that thing, whatever you believe that thing is, God, the universe, source, Buddha, whoever. It connects you to that thing to remind you you are so much bigger, so much stronger, so much more powerful than you realize when you take the time to connect to this. So in meditation, one of the things that I've been spending time and I mean really spending time connecting to is this thought, and you're more than welcome, obviously, to take this with you, is like, you literally are the entire universe inside of yourself. Like, if you sit with this for a minute and you think about this, like we play so small in our lives because our human brains forget what we're actually made of. But you literally have the entire universe contained within your human body, manifesting itself as you. So you think about this, like, this is what I ponder. So if I'm like, all right, I'm not really like specifically manifesting anything, even though technically we're always manifesting something, whether we're conscious or not conscious of it. But when I'm not, I'll sit and ponder this concept of like the entire freaking universe, the whole universe, everything. You want millions of dollars? You got it. You want to be broke? You got it. You want to be strong, fit, and healthy? You got it. You want to be overweight, unhealthy, lethargic, all these things? You got it. You want to be in a relationship that sets your soul on fire? Here you go. You want to be in a relationship that doesn't? Here you go. Literally, you have the entire universe embodied inside this human, I don't even know what I want to call it. I don't want to call it like skin because that sounds so, I don't know. Embodied in your human body, we'll just call it that can be and do and express itself however it wants. And the universe inside of you is manifested as you. So what that means is how you choose, again, going back to it is a choice. Your reality that you are living in every single day is a choice, and you can change it once you really connect to this thought and this idea that you have the entire power of the entire universe inside of you right now, manifesting and acting as you. So when you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes and you say thank you and you're thinking about this and you're like, the entire universe is inside of me as me. The question you then have for the rest of your day is, what version of the universe do I want to express myself as? whatever you tell it. And like clients who've been with me for a long time, they know I'm all about like affirmations and like thought processes and mindset. They're like, look, if every single day you look in the mirror and you're like, I am ugly, I am fat, I am unworthy, who would love this? I am pathetic, I'm weak. You're telling yourself all these things. You are telling the universe inside of you, express yourself as pathetic, weak, unworthy, unloved, fat, overweight, unhealthy. And that is exactly the choices that you are going to make, because that's what you're choosing. And that is how you are saying, hey, universe, I've got all the power in the world because you are all the power and you exist inside of me. Let's express ourselves in this way. The thing that gets people those like huge transformation and changes that you read about and hear about is when they accept and acknowledge and they truly connect and understand, wait a minute, I can choose differently anytime I want. And when you choose differently, you get differently. So you have the choice to wake up in the morning with a mindset and a heart and a soul full of gratitude for everything that you have, which immediately puts you in a place of abundance and attracting more abundance. And then you're getting dressed, you're brushing your teeth, you're washing your face, you're doing your hair or whatever. And you look in the mirror and you're like, you know what? You're a big deal. You're a big deal because the universe decided to show up in this life as you, with this body, with this mind, with this personality, with these passions, with this drive. How do we want to express ourselves today as the universe? And then all of a sudden, now you're thinking about like everything that the universe is, you are. Everything the universe has, you have the power to do as well. You want something different, claim something different. This is the way it is. So in skipping mindset work, when you're doing nutrition and fitness, it's like, I would rather you skip all the other stuff and do the mindset, because if I can get you to see yourself as a strong, healthy, fit, balanced, loved, incredible, powerful individual, you're going to make very different choices in your life. And like using the analogy of this when in the dating world, because I feel like relationships are one of the biggest reflections of our belief systems. Think about when somebody genuinely believes they don't deserve love. It's so interesting. Like when you become an observer of yourself, an observer of life and other people, it's so interesting to watch this dynamic happen. Everybody's got a friend or somebody that they know that they continue to repeat patterns, and you watch it over and over. And if you watch people's patterns, you can actually see their belief systems. So you have these women that are just like so beautiful, so wonderful, so just like incredible. And then you look at their partners who they're dating, and these guys are total assholes. They don't respect them. They don't put in the time or energy for them. They're kind of sloppy. They don't hold themselves to a very high standard. And you see these people and you're like, how did that girl end up with that guy? Or vice versa. Like, how did this happen? And it's very simple. It's because one person has the subconscious belief that they don't deserve true love. They don't deserve love and respect, and they're not worthy of whatever, somebody who embodies different qualities. Therefore, they create this relationship. However, over time, and this is what I always think is fascinating about humans and just who we are. It's amazing to me, but regardless. So over time, this person continues to date one asshole after the next asshole. And it's the same thing with guys. Maybe the guys continue to date girls who cheat on them, or maybe they date women who aren't totally like up to the standards that they want, whatever. People repeat these patterns over and over until eventually they get tired of it. It might take one relationship, it might take 20, it doesn't matter. But eventually they get tired of this themselves. And they're like, you know what? I'm fucking tired of being treated like I don't matter. I'm tired of being put on the back burner and not made a priority. I am tired of not being listened to, not having a voice, not being heard. And in these moments, they make the change. They don't make the change because the external world changed. They make the change because they chose to believe that they deserve differently. Therefore, the choices that they make in their relationships will be different because they have done something internally that now is being reflected externally. And then all of a sudden, what happens? They start taking better care of themselves. they start being a little more selective with who they allow in their life. They start taking care of their fitness, their nutrition. They start setting aside more time to refuel them for self-care because they believe they deserve self-care. So it's so interesting to see this. And I had this conversation recently with a friend who, she may or may not be listening to this, I don't know. But she's talking about how with social media, she gets frustrated because what she wants is deep connected friendships where you pick up the phone and you call each other or you see each other in person and you're deeply involved with what's going on in life. But everybody is so involved on social media that she feels like every time she decides to get off social media, it's that fear of missing out. She's like, I don't understand because this is what I want, but it's almost like I can't get people to get off social media to engage and interact with me in this way. So then I find myself back on social media, dissatisfied, playing the comparison game, feeling unfulfilled, all this stuff. And what I was explaining, she was like, I don't know how to handle this. I was like, it's pretty simple. What's going to happen is you set the boundary of what you want. The people who can give that to you will connect with you off social media. It's that simple. You want intimate relationships where people are calling you, they see you in person, they check in with you. They actually pick up the phone and send you like a voice message or a video message instead of hiding behind a screen. Those people aren't going to matter if you're on social media or not. They're going to know what's going on in your life because you have set that boundary. And if they want to be a part of your life, they have to respect that and meet you there. It's that simple. And it's not rude. It's just like, hey, you know what? This is what I want. This is what I expect in my friendships. This is how I communicate. And this is what makes me feel filled and not drained. If you want to continue to interact, I would love to. And here's how we're going to do this. I'm available for FaceTimes. I'm available for phone calls, for video calls, for voice messages, for actually meeting up face to face and seeing each other. I'm available for all of this. And if people don't come and meet you there, well, that doesn't mean that you go back and you change your boundary. You keep that boundary and you leave that space in that room open for the people who respect that, value that, and also want that. So anyways, now that I've gone off on a tangent, so those are your mindset things. So I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, wow, we're already at 42 minutes and I'm on number 2. Okay, well, it is what it is. So training your mindset muscle involves you consistently and daily training it just like you do with your workouts. And you have to be your own, I guess, tough love, or you need to get somebody in your life that holds you accountable to this. Because just like when people hire personal trainers to hold them accountable in their workouts and their nutrition, you need accountability in your mindset too. I mean, fortunately for my clients, we do all 3 of these things where I'm like, hey, so that's great. Good job. What's going on with your mindset stuff? Did you do the meditations? Did you do the journaling? No. Okay. Well, your homework is to do this. Do it every single day. And then of course people start doing it and they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Life feels so much greater. I'm not as irritable. I feel so much more happy. And I'm like, of course you did. Anywho, so you have to train it every single day. You wake up with a mindset of gratitude. Number 2, spend 5 to 10 minutes a day reconnecting to yourself, but reconnecting to the bigger thing in life that you are, which is the entire universe. Like just spend some time today on that concept. The entire universe is inside of you. How do you want to express it? You're already expressing it. And if you want to know how you're expressing it, take a look at your reality. It'll tell you everything that you're telling it. If you want to change it, reconnect to it and decide to change it. But number 3, and this is the last part that I would say when you're doing mindset stuff, our beliefs, our concrete beliefs, and who we actually believe that we are, which is how we continue to create experiences based off these beliefs, are generated and made concrete through emotional experiences. The reason why this is important is because a lot of times when people do mindset work, or they do meditation, or they're trying to reprogram their belief systems, they do it from a surface level. And then after a few weeks, they're wondering why they don't really see or feel any change. And it's because you're not creating any emotional experience behind it. Any belief that you have, you did it in a moment of deep emotional experience. So think about like some of the traumas or pains that you have. Maybe you have a belief that, God, I don't even know, you're not worth attention. Or maybe you got cheated on and now you feel like you're not worthy of love and commitment. Whatever your deepest issue is. So like, I joke about like abandonment and all those things, which I've worked through. I'm giving myself a pat on the back. It's been a lot of work, but I've worked through it. But when and how did you create that belief? And 100%, I guarantee you, it's because something happened to you in deep emotional pain that established that belief. Somebody you deeply loved and gave your heart to broke it and cheated on you. And in that moment of deep emotional pain, you established the belief, you're not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You are not enough. You don't deserve love. You're never going to find somebody who doesn't cheat on you. So the flip side is also true. When we have positive things about ourselves, it's usually because we have a positive emotional experience to go with it. So when you're doing the work, the intention behind meditation is, number one, to connect to something greater than yourself inside of yourself. But number two, you also have to create the emotional experience in order to create the subconscious and mindset change. So if you're walking around and you're saying affirmations like, all right, Ashley says I'm supposed to do this mindset stuff. I'm supposed to say thank you, universe. Supposed to say some affirmations, I guess. All right, I am happy. I am living my best life. I am wonderful. Life is fantastic. You're doing all these things, going through the motion. Imagine if you did this in your deep friendships and relationships. There's a very different energy behind. If somebody's like, look, I just want you to love me. All right. You know how it feels when somebody does something because they have to do it, and when somebody does it because there's so much passion and energy and love behind it. So when women are complaining to their spouse because they want them to do thoughtful things like buy them flowers and take them to dinner and write them notes and and like have deep conversations with them, and they're saying like, this is what I want from you, and the guy is only doing it because he's like, well, this is what she wants, but I mean, I really don't feel any of this. Women can feel that. Like, wow, I feel like you're doing this just to check this off your list. Vice versa. Women, when men are talking about how they want sex and to be physically vulnerable and connected and intimate with you, and you're like, all right, this is what he wants. Let me just do this. They can feel when there is no love or emotion or passion behind it, and you are doing it just to check it off the list. This is the same exact thing with your entire life. You cannot go around just repeating things and saying things that have zero emotional charge to it, expecting things to actually change. So the question then becomes, how do you create the emotional connection in order to create the bigger change in your mindset? And you have to get into the state that you are trying to change. So one of the ways you can do this, and I'm going to try and speed through this since I'm already at 48 minutes. One of the ways you can do this, and I've talked about this before, is music is one of the fastest ways to change your emotional state. If you are feeling tired, it's very hard to feel tired while playing energetic, upbeat music. If you are feeling sad, it is very hard to continue to feel sad while listening to upbeat, positive music. Vice versa, if you're feeling great and positive, but then you're listening to a song that triggers an emotional memory from, I don't know, something from your past that makes you sad, it will put you in a state of sadness. So to change your emotional state quickly, one thing you can do is listen to a song or some kind of music that triggers that emotional response that you are trying to create. For me, instrumental music does this really well for me. I'm big on like lyrics, so I always listen to lyrics before I'm like getting wrapped up in a song because I know music is like deeply intimate and connected. The other thing that you can do too, though, is if you're trying to, a lot of times people will jump from one thing to the other, but sometimes it's not that hard. So if you're trying to connect to like, let's say the energy of love, and you're right now, and you don't feel like you have any love in your life. Maybe you feel totally alone. Maybe you have no friends or no real friend. Let's be clear on that. Maybe you have no real friends. You have no romantic partner. You have a job that you could care less about, and I don't know, other areas of your life are empty. So you're over here trying to like get in the state of like, okay, I'm the universe. I'm looking in the mirror. I am love. I attract love. Love is all around me, blah, blah, blah. This stuff doesn't work. How do you create and attract to the vibration of love? Think of anything that you love that sparks that emotion in you. It doesn't have to necessarily be what it is you're trying to manifest. It could just simply be like, oh my God, I love sunny days like this. Or I love deep conversation. Or for me, there's a lot of, like, you guys always laugh at me for how much I love bear. Look, animals to me are one of the most purest representations of love. So yes, I love him so much, and he was the best money I ever spent. Sometimes when I am in a state, an emotional state, and I'm trying to change my state, and I'm sitting there and I'm like in meditation and I'm breathing and I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting to it, I will literally look at Bear and his sweet little face, and without even trying, like a smile will come on my face, and I'll have a thought that's like, he's so freaking cute. Like, he's just this ball of love and happiness and joy and peace. And then before I know it, all of a sudden, my emotional state starts to change. So it can be anything. It can be like, maybe you feel love for a family member. Maybe you just feel so much gratitude for your health. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be you. If you're manifesting a job that you love and you're in a job that you hate, you're going to have a block if you try and create love around the job that you hate. So you don't do that. You just think about like, all right, if all I'm really trying to do is connect to the energy of love and passion, what do I feel deep, immense love for? It can be a person. It can be a pet. It can be a hobby. It can be a music. It can be whatever. And then once you connect to that, it becomes very easy, and your mind will, like we talked about earlier, your mind will create that trail of like, okay, she's connecting to love, or he's connecting to love. She's connecting to abundance and gratitude. Let me continue to find things to validate that there is abundance and gratitude. And then we go back to step number 2. You are the entire universe. The entire universe is full of unlimited possibilities and ways to create the life that you want. And then we go all the way back to step number 1 of waking up and saying thank you, but also remembering that you take 100% responsibility for your life in the creation of your life, looking the way that you want. Do we have any questions? Sometimes when I go and I do these podcasts and I'm like going through these steps, I'm always like, I wish I could immediately ask you guys questions, but for the most part, most of you will just send me questions, and a lot of you like clients will just be like, hey, so listen to your podcast. So that is what you need to do. That is how you train your muscle of reprogramming your mindset and getting in the mindset of somebody who is a leader, somebody who is reaching their full potential, somebody who is moving in the direction that they want. That is how you do it, is you spend time and you make time every single day to find a way to calibrate yourself to the vibration and to the life that you want. And on that note, class, that is all. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, I hope that helped. I hope that started your day off feeling super motivated. Thank you. So I forgot to say this too. Thank you. Those of you who did the 48-hour challenge, some of you guys sent me messages on, what was it? One of you sent me a message, and then you sent me this affirmation that popped up on your phone right after about I have a choice every day of how I live my life, or something along those lines. And it makes me so happy. I'm so glad that you guys did that. I'm also so glad that you guys are just like, I love when I hear stories about either you guys listening to this podcast or from my clients where they're taking a lot of the stuff from this, and then they're like, they find themselves telling their friends or their family members about it, of like, yeah, well, if you keep throwing that out in the universe, that's exactly what you're going to get. Have you heard of this concept of manifesting? That makes me so happy. And then I also had somebody say, because we've got her on magnesium, and magnesium's been doing really well for her with a lot of different things. but she shared it with some of her friends and family members. And now our friends and family members are getting some physical relief from some issues they've had for a long time. So thank you so much when you guys tell me these things, because it makes me, one, so happy. It makes my intention behind these podcasts and the content that I'm doing much more clear. It's way more fulfilling and rewarding when I hear directly from you. So thank you for telling me that. As always, to wrap things up, if you want to work with me directly as your mindset, your nutrition, and your fitness coach, go to my website, ashleydrummons.com. There is a tab that says work with me. There's buttons all over the place too, so super easy to find. Click on that, fill out the form. You can shoot me an email on that too and just explain to me what's going on and what you're working on. And we can talk about it and see if we're a good fit to work together or not. I will say, if you are looking to work with me, I'm always very clear with clients of, number one, I'm very direct. That's what I'm here for you. I'm kind of like your trainer slash therapist slash nutrition coach. But the biggest thing is, my job and my responsibility is also to help you make change. And in order to help you make change, I have to give you both empathy and compassion, but I also have to give you direct and tough love of what we need to do that. So I do always tell people that, like, look, if you want to transform, I'm here for you and we will do it. But it's not easy. It's rewarding. And when you're on the other side, you're going to be so grateful that you went through it. So if you want to work with me and you're ready to transform your life, you want to get strong, you want to get fit, you want to clean up your nutrition for real, y'all. And I mean for real, as in, like, we're doing blood work, hormone work, getting your food on track, making sure you feel and your body reflects health, and not just, oh, great, like you hit a number on the scale, except for your body's falling apart internally. All those things, then yes, then go to ashleydrummons.com and I would be more than excited to work with you. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast episode. Every single, I'm not going to promise a week. I always like to underpromise and overdeliver. If I say weekly, that's going to be a problem because life has been very busy. Anyways, every month for sure, I come out with new podcast episodes, so be sure to subscribe and you will get them immediately as soon as they come out. And in the meantime, go work on your mindset, spend some time getting clear and connecting to yourself and the part of life that is bigger than you, and then go intentionally create the life that you want. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.